Okay, our question today, task 1, general exam question, is this. A construction company finished renovations at your home recently. You are not happy with their work. Write a letter to complain to the manager about this matter. In your letter, explain what type of repairs were done, what you are not happy about, what you suggest as a solution, and begin your letter with "Dear Sir" or "Madam." Okay, so we are writing a letter of complaint today. A construction company has done a poor job at our house, and we are going to include these 3 small pieces of information. So what kind of repairs were done, what we are not happy about, and what we suggest as a solution. Now, as you know, a letter has 3 basic paragraph parts to it. The first being the purpose of your letter. So in our letter, we're going to write perhaps something like, I am writing to you because of some repairs that were recently done at my house. The second paragraph describes the situation in some detail. So this is the area that we're going to cover this section, what type of repairs were done, and this section, what you're not happy about. So in the second paragraph, you'll see today that we'll talk about the situation, and we'll mention the repairs that we're not pleased with, and then we're going to mention just our feeling about this, that we feel that the service was not as good as we were expecting. The third and final paragraph section of our letter is going to suggest a solution, which that will cover the third part of our question here, which says what you suggest as a solution. Okay, now in our letter, it doesn't really matter what we describe as being the object or the room that was repaired. I think I'm going to use a bathroom as an example in my letter today, but you could use anything. You could say, anything pertaining to your house, perhaps a window or a roof or whatever. But today I'm going to talk about a bathroom. So let's get to writing together. Okay, the letter, we're given the instructions that say, begin your letter with "Dear Sir" or "Madam." Okay, so now let's get to it. Now the first paragraph, we are stating the purpose of our letter. So we would probably want to include something like, I am writing to you regarding the poor quality of the renovations your company has recently completed. And now I'm just going to include a little bit more. I'm going to put in a few more details to make the letter seem a little bit more realistic, and just to demonstrate to my IELTS examiner that I am capable of using these details in an attractive fashion. So I'm going to say at my home here in Stittsville, Ontario. Okay, I am writing to you regarding the poor quality of the renovations your company has recently completed at my home here in Stittsville, Ontario. So that is the entire first paragraph. It's only 1 sentence long, and it just says our purpose for writing the letter. Now in this second sentence, we're going to get into the details. So now we need to kind of be creative here and give the some background regarding what has happened at our house that has made us unhappy. Now I'm going to use an example of a bathroom, and I think I'm going to say something like the bathtub and the sink do not match. And I'm also going to demonstrate some vocabulary here. I'm going to talk about the tile on the floor of the bathtub and the trimming, which is the sort of the edge of the tile around the floor. That's called the trimming. So I'm going to use these words in my explanation of the situation. And I'm just going to mention that perhaps the tile is not has not been installed correctly, and these are the reasons that I am unhappy. So now usually when you hire somebody to do renovations at your house, there's some kind of contract, and the both sides agree to a period of time in which the renovations are going to be completed. So I might start with something like, as you are aware, I had contracted you, sorry, not you, we'll say your company, to finish the bathroom, and maybe we'll even add in the master bedroom. In the master bedroom, while I was away on vacation these past 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm just being a little bit creative here. So I'm just mentioning that we had a contract with them that they were going to finish the repairs in the bathroom within the master bedroom while we were away on vacation over the past 2 weeks. Okay, so what I was expecting, actually we might even want to stick in that as part of the agreement. So what I was expecting and what was clearly defined in our contractual agreement was that the new white bathtub and matching sink. Actually, I'm going to make this a bit more creative, and it's not only white, it is eggshell white, which is a certain shade of white. So that a new eggshell white bathtub and matching sink were to be installed, as well as new floor tiling. Okay, was that a new eggshell white bathtub and matching sink were to be installed as well as new floor tiling. Now, I'd just like to point out this little bit that I've added in here. So as you can see, it says what I was expecting, and then I have comma, and what was clearly defined in our contractual agreement, comma. Now, as you know, a little trick is, if you put a little idea between commas the way that I have here, this is something that could be taken away, and the overall sentence would still be able to stand. So what I mean is if you read, what I was expecting was that a new eggshell white bathtub, this sentence is fine without this middle part. So this middle part is sort of like an extra little side idea that we're also sharing. or reminding this reader of, and what was clearly defined in our contractual agreement. So we're just saying that we were expecting something that this construction company was under contract to finish. Was that a new eggshell white bathtub and matching sink were to be installed, as well as new floor tiling. Okay, so now we've mentioned the things that we were hoping that they were going to fix or to install. Okay, so now let's talk about our, so we go away on vacation, we come home, and the repairs that were supposed to be finished are not finished. They're finished, but perhaps they're done incorrectly, let's say. So I had mentioned before that that maybe this sink did not turn out as eggshell white. It came in a different color. So let's say something like, you can understand my shock when I arrived home. Sorry, this keeps... My shock when I arrived home yesterday to find that not only is my sink not only is my sink more we'll say turquoise than white, but the trim along the perimeter of the floor is cracked, we'll say. Okay, so I'm just demonstrating a bit of vocabulary here to impress my examiner a bit. You can understand my shock when I arrived home yesterday to find that not only is my sink more turquoise than white, so here we're saying that the sink is not white, it is turquoise. So not only this, that's not the only problem, not only this, there's another problem. The problem is the trim along the perimeter of the floor is cracked. So if not only, maybe that's a new phrase, not only means that we have, there's not only one problem, we have two. Not only is the sink the wrong color, comma, but the tiling is cracked. Now, if perimeter is a new word, perimeter is just kind of the area around a shape. So, in our bathroom, the floor of the bathroom might be kind of a rectangle shape, perhaps, I'm just guessing. So the perimeter would be the edge of that rectangle. So all the way around the perimeter is cracked. So the tile has not been laid properly. Okay, so now we've stated our opinion, we've stated the problem very clearly here, and we've stated, what we were hoping that the construction company was going to do. Now what we want to do is we want to state what we expect the construction company to give us in return for this problem, what we expect them to do. So we're going to start a new paragraph. As you know, the third paragraph is where you write what you want to happen. So here we would write perhaps something like, I am expecting you to send a team of individuals to correct this issue immediately. Okay. due immediately. Okay, now we could finish our letter here, actually. We could just sign off and I could say Ryan at the bottom, and then that's the end of my task 1 response. And I bet we'd actually do quite well if we were to finish right here. But I'm going to add a little bit more in, just to give the whole letter a bit more, just to demonstrate a little bit more about, how well I can write here, so my examiner can have a few more examples of what I'm capable of. So now we've asked them to send another team. Perhaps another plausible thing to request from this construction company is a partial refund. So basically the construction company can give us back a little bit of the money that we paid them because they had done, kind of a crummy job. So let's continue here further. I am sure that you will agree a partial refund is in order. Refund is in order for the trouble you have caused me. It's kind of sounds like we're whining, but now let's say that maybe we're asking for a partial refund, but we're not going to tell them what percentage we want. We're not going to give them a dollar amount. You could do that if you like, actually, but here I'm going to say that that I'm going to leave it up to the company to decide what they think is fair for this, to rectify this problem. So I'm going to say something like, the details of this refund are at your discretion. There's a little phrase that you might want to note in your memory. It's a good little phrase to use, especially if you're going to be writing a task 1 response. At your discretion is a phrase that sort of means it's up to you. It's up to you. So if there's any moment in your essay where you want to say it's up to you, when you're writing to whoever it is, at your discretion is a way that you can help yourself sound a bit more academic. So the details of this refund are at your discretion, but I expect you to be fair. So we're saying they can choose how much to refund us, but we're not expecting it to be a trivial amount. We're expecting it to be worth the trouble that they've caused us. Okay, now let's sign off. So now, of course, we're not happy. This is a letter of complaint, and we want to hear from them soon. So let's say something perhaps like expecting a response from you the moment you read this. Right. Expecting a response from you the moment you read this. And I've closed that with a comma and signed my name. Okay, so let's take a look at the letter from the beginning. And we'll do a little review of the question. So, okay, we know that it's a letter of complaint to the construction company. The 3 things we were supposed to include: what type of repairs were done. So we had repairs done on our bathroom. What you are not happy about. We're not happy because the sink is the wrong color and the tiling on the floor has been installed incorrectly. What we suggest is a solution. We suggest that they send a team to fix the problem that has been caused, and we're expecting a partial refund at an amount that is at the discretion of the manager of the construction company. Okay, let's read the letter. Dear Sir or Madam, I am writing to you regarding the poor quality of the renovations your company has recently completed at my home here in Stittsville, Ontario. As you are aware, I had contracted your company to finish the bathroom in the master bedroom while I was away on vacation these past 2 weeks. What I was expecting and what was clearly defined in our contractual agreement was that a new eggshell white bathtub and matching sink were to be installed, as well as new floor tiling. You can understand my shock when I arrived home yesterday to find that not only is my sink more turquoise than white, but the trim along the perimeter of the floor is cracked. I am expecting you to send a team of individuals to correct this issue immediately. Further, I am sure that you will agree a partial refund is in order for the trouble you have caused me. The details of this refund are at your discretion, but I expect you to be fair. Expecting a response from you the moment you read this, Ryan. Okay, now I just have noticed here, now we've used expect twice, right, one after the other, so I'm going to stick in here, I assume you are going to be fair. Just that we don't have the repeat of expect there. So the details of this refund are at your discretion, but I assume you're going to be fair. Okay, and then finally, expecting a response from you the moment you read this, Ryan. Okay, so that is a response to the recent Task 1 question that was seen in France on the general exam. Thank you for listening.